Everybody, so today we're going to be looking at some more cybersecurity articles, and today we've got Ode to Humanity: How to Make Humans Part of Cybersecurity Design. So the government and industry want to jumpstart the conversation around human-centric cybersecurity to boost the usability and effectiveness of security products and services. So I read this a little bit before, and basically the synopsis is that the summary is that they want people to be as smart as the cybersecurity professionals in order to not get hacked, but they're running into some difficulties. Many security teams view their non-security coworkers as the potential weak point in any cybersecurity plan, so they bring in technology to mitigate their inevitable poor choices. The viewpoint is understandable. The human element contributed to 68% of breaches in 2023 and 74% of breaches in 2022, according to Verizon's Data Breach Investigations report. Yet the immediate dumb choices with technology approaches failing companies that want to improve their cybersecurity, experts say. In a U.S. government handout titled Users Are Not Stupid, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, urges organizations to avoid creating insider threats through poor usability, layering on too much security, and failing to consider user feedback. Instead, organizations should pursue a human-centric cybersecurity approach focusing on processes and products that account for users' needs and motivations and incentivize secure behaviors. An HCC program includes security awareness and anti-phishing training, adds user feedback channels to the security products, and aims to reduce the security responsibility placed on the average person. Tools that are critical for companies taking an HCC approach include security monitoring and user entity behavior and analytics. Yet HCC goes beyond just looking for user-centric or user-friendly security products, says Julie Haney, HCC program led at NIST Information Technology Lab. It's really all about putting people at the forefront when we are designing and implementing security, Haney says. If you do not have human-centered cybersecurity where you're considering that person, then you have unusable security solutions. So people are more prone to making errors or making risky decisions or implementing less secure workarounds because they just need to get the jobs done. Yeah, that sounds like pretty typical human behavior because you just want to get the result. And however you get the result, however you get the result. Last month, NIST launches human-centered cybersecurity community of interest to bring together practitioners, academics, and policymakers to discuss how to cybersecurity make more effective and user-friendly. And this is doing a lot. They also did a article on best practices, or it was the best practices, but it was about AI and how you can be on top of Gen AI. They did an article about like vulnerabilities and how to safeguard against that. So they've really been doing a lot. Cybersecurity part of people. So the government agency is the only one organization to focus on the human aspect of security. Increasingly, HCC has become a focus of enterprise security teams with business intelligence firm Gartner exposing CSOs at half large enterprises to adopt human-centric practices and designs for cybersecurity by 2027. So this is like a lot of word salad. So let's just scroll down a little bit to the meat of the article. So what is the point? Okay, employees do worry over cybersecurity. For the most part, workers are cognizant of the critical role in protecting their business. They are worried that they could be the cause of the next breach, with a third of workers concerned that they may take an action that leaves their organizations vulnerable, according to a survey of 1,000 workers. Companies should work with those users and find ways to direct those concerns in productive action. If someone clicks on that phishing link, organizations tend to put all the blame on the employee, but they're not actually looking up the chain of all of the procedural things, the process things, the people things that maybe went wrong in the organization before that. All right, so this is not really like interesting news because it's just talking about how people are going to be people. We want like the interesting news. We want like the attacks and the threats and the vulnerabilities. So I got one right here. Massive Git Config Breach Exposes 15,000 credentials, 10,000 private repos cloned. Cybersecurity researchers have flagged a massive campaign that targets exposed Git configurations to siphon credentials, clone private repositories, and even extract cloud credentials from the source code. Wow, that's pretty intense. So like this could like if you have access to that, you could have access to an entire organization's code and you could just duplicate their entire business and probably offer it for cheaper because you didn't do any of the work to like get to do it. So yeah, so basically like you didn't need to have any of the workers or people of the coworker or like employees to create this like code. So now you get it for free, so you could just charge it for like $1, you know. So the activity code named Emerald Whale is estimated to have collected over 10,000 private repositories and stored in an Amazon S3 storage bucket belonging to a prior victim. The bucket consists of no less than 15,000 stolen credentials, has since been taken down by Amazon. The stolen credentials belong to cloud service providers, email providers, and other services. Phishing Sid Dig said in a report, phishing and spam seem to be the primary goal of stealing the credentials. Yeah. The multifaceted criminal approach, while not sophisticated, has been found to leverage an arsenal of private tools to steal credentials as well as scrape Git config files, Laravel.env files, and raw web data. It has not been attributed to any known threat actor or group yet. Targeting servers with exposed Git repository configuration files using broad IP address ranges, the toolset adopted by Emerald Well allows for the discovery of relevant hosts and credential extraction and validation. These stolen tokens are subsequently used to clone public and private repositories and grab more credentials embedded into the source code. The captured information is finally uploaded to the S3 bucket. Okay, so the way it works is that it goes from the victim S3 to running on, let's see, what is this? VPS victim. Then it goes to scan, so victim. So then it's running on VPS victim MZRV2. Then it scans the domain's IPs. Then it goes to the Git config. Then it extracts the Git config URLs. Then it clones the repositories. Then it extracts the AWS keys. Then it creates an AWS SMT SNS panel. So yeah, interesting. Two prominent programs the threat actor uses to realize his goals are MZR-V2 and SASO V2, which are sold on underground marketplaces and are capable of accepting a list of IP addresses as inputs for scanning and exploitation of exposed Git repositories. These lists are typically compiled using legitimate search engines like Google Dorks and Shodan, and scanning utilities such as Masscan. What's more, SIDSIG analysis found that illicit compromising more than 60,000 URLs with the path .git/config/.git/config exposed is being offered for sale via Telegram for $100, signaling that there exists a market for Git configuration files. Emerald Well, in addition to targeting Git configuration files, also targeted exposed Laravel environment files. SysDig researcher Miguel Hernandez said the .env files contain a wealth of credentials, including cloud service providers and databases. The underground market for credentials is booming, especially for cloud services. This attack shows that secret management alone is not enough to secure an environment. Cool. So South Korea fines Meta $15.67 million for illegally sharing sensitive user data with advertisers. I wonder if Meta has to pay this or if they will just negotiate it away. Meta has been fined 21.62 billion won, 15.67 million by South Korea's data privacy watchdog for illegally collecting sensitive personal information from Facebook users, including data about their political views and sexual orientation, and sharing it with advertisers without their consent. The country's Personal Information Protection Commission said Meta gathered information such as religious affiliations, political views, and same-sex marital status of about 980,000 domestic Facebook users and shared it with 4,000 advertisers. Specifically, it was found that behavioral information such as the pages that users liked on Facebook and the ads they clicked on was analyzed to create and operate advertising topics related to sensitive information. These topics categorize users as following a certain religion, identifying them as gay or transgender person, or being a defector from North Korea, it added. The agency accused Meta of processing such sensitive information for a proper legal basis and that it did not seek users' consent before doing so. So specifically, it was found that behavioral information such as the pages that users liked on Facebook and ads they clicked on was analyzed to create and operate advertising topics related to sensitive information. Oh, okay. It also called out the tech giant for failing to enact safety measures to secure inactive accounts, thereby allowing malicious actors to request passwords resets for those accounts by submitting fake identification information. Meta approved such requests without sufficient verification of the fake IDs, resulting in the leak of the personal information of 10 South Korean users. Going forward, the Personal Information Protection Commission will continue to monitor whether Meta is complying with its corrective order and will do its best to protect the personal information of our citizens by applying the protection law without discrimination to global companies that provide services to domestic users. Usually you would get a word salad in there, but this doesn't sound like a word salad. This sounds like, oh no, this is what the regulator said. Yeah. So Meta said it will carefully review the commission's decision. Yeah. Which means somebody is going to have to take the fall for that. So we got a new Android banking malware, Toxic Panda, targets users with fraudulent money transfers. Interesting. Over 1,500 Android devices have been infected by a new strain of Android banking malware called Toxic Panda that allows threat actors to conduct fraudulent bank transactions. Toxic Panda's main goal is to initiate money transfers from compromised devices via account takeover using a well-known technique called on-device fraud. It aims to bypass bank countermeasures used to enforce users' identity verification and authentication, combined with behavioral detection techniques applied by banks to identify suspicious money transfers. Interesting. Toxic Panda is believed to be the work of a Chinese-speaking threat actor with the malware sharing foundational similarities with Android malware dubbed TG Toxic, which can steal credentials and funds from crypto wallets. A majority of the compromises have been reported in Italy, 56.8%. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, team. I just had to go do something real quick. So, the banking Trojan also appears to be in its nascent stages. Analysis shows that its stripped down version of its ancestors, removing automatic transfer system, easy click, and obfuscation routines, while also introducing 33 new commands of its own to harvest a wide range of data. In addition, as many as 61 commands have been found to be common to both TG Toxic and Toxic Panda, indicating that the same threat actor or their close affiliates are behind the new malware family. While it shares some bot command similarities with the TG Toxic family, the code diverges considerably from its original source. Many capabilities characteristic of TG Toxic are notably absent, and some commands appear as placeholders without real implementation, the researchers said. The malware masquerades as popular apps like Google Chrome, Visa 99, SpeedSmart, and is distributed via counterfeit pages mimicking App Store listing pages. It's currently not known how these links are propagated and if they involve malvertising or smishing techniques. Once installed via sideloading, Toxic Panda abuses Android's accessibility services to gain the elevated permissions, manipulate user inputs, and capture data from other apps. It can also intercept one-time passwords sent via SMS or generated user authenticator apps, thus enabling the threat actors to bypass two-factor authentication, protections, and complete fraudulent transactions. Interesting. So this is a lot. So this has to be like a group or something, but it could also be one person doing this on their own time. The core functionality of the malware, besides its ability to harvest information, is to permit attackers to remotely control the compromised device and perform what's called on-device fraud, which makes it possible to initiate unauthorized money transfers without the victim's knowledge. Cleefy said it was able to gain access to Toxic Panda's command and control panel, a graphical interface presented in Chinese that allows the operators to view the list of victim devices, including the model information and location, and remove them from the botnet. Furthermore, the panel serves as a conduit to request real-time remote access to any of the devices for conducting on-device fraud. Toxic Panda needs to demonstrate more advanced and unique capabilities that would complicate its analysis, the researchers said. However, artifacts such as logging information in dead code and debugging files suggest that the malware may either be in its early stages of development or undergoing extensive code refactoring, particularly given its similarities with TG Toxic.
This is a reminder. Get food out the oven.
Okay, so that's it, everybody. So you heard that reminder, so I gotta go get my food out the oven. All right, later, everybody.